I welcome you to the advanced trend analysis, which is otherwise known as circuit. Okay, so before I do so, I would request each one of you to go through the disclaimer first. It is important for you, for me, for everyone. Okay. So let us learn something called advanced trend analysis or circuit. When price moves in a trend, whether up or down, it continuously creates MIPs, QMs, accumulation and distribution. The gap between these MIPs and QMs are known as a circuit. When price engulfs a MIP, it enters this circuit. Once it enters the circuit, opposite QM or opposite MIP forms in the chart, and price starts moving through these circuits by changing the entire trend. Once price changes its trend, say from up to down, from then demand MIPs fail to give reactions, or they may give small reactions. The circuit ends at the fresh accumulation or distribution or QM areas, or at any place where opposite MIP gets engulfed. This is what we called as a circuit break. Okay, every time frame has its own circuits and also its own trend. Hence, circuits help us to understand the trend change behavior in each of these time frames. So it is helpful for every kind of a trader, whether he's a positional investor or a scalper. So advanced trend analysis helps us in identifying the trend as well as setting our targets. Okay, so let us think this is a chart, and price is coming down. This is a red candle formed. Thereafter, price started moving up by creating a small support, moved up further, then price started coming down and engulfs the support. Okay, after engulfing this support, price went down, comes up, creates another support. Okay, creates a base and engulfs the second support as well. So by this, price created a MIP in the chart. This is a supply MIP which got created in the chart. Okay, then price further went down. When it went down, it created a drop base drop. Now we can mark this drop base drop and we can call it as an authentic supply zone, as the base candle of this supply have not touched the base candle of the MIP. So this is an authentic supply zone. Then price comes down further. Then again, it starts moving up by creating another support, hits the authentic supply zone. This authentic supply zone reacts and price breaks the new support as well. By this, another supply MIP got created in the chart. Now, what we said, a circuit is nothing but the gap between two MIPs. Okay, so the gap between these two MIPs, will call it as circuit 1. Okay, so whenever you find a gap between two MIPs, that is our circuit. So above this first circuit, above the first MIP, as you can see, there is a gap, right? And there is no other MIP. So this open gap is also our circuit number 2. Okay. Now, so we will mark all the gaps between the MIPs and we will call it as a circuit. Now what happens? Price comes up to the MIP and this time price engulfs the MIP. When price engulfs the MIP, we call that the circuit has been broken, and the circuit break is the first signal of a trend change. So price engulfs the MIP, enters the circuit and closes inside the circuit. Okay, so this is called circuit break. Once circuit break is happened, we know that trend is going to change, and also when a circuit break happens, we can also observe a QM in the chart. Okay, so how it is a QM? As you can see, low, high, lower low and higher high has formed, and not only that, the zone which is responsible for creating the low has also been engulfed. Okay, so this is a QM. Now I know if price coming down to the QM, I can take a trade. Okay, this is a trend change signal. Now what could be my target? As you know that there is, there is a diagonal. If you draw a diagonal trend line, there all the zones here are tested. Okay, so if all the zones are here are tested, so that means this is a compression. Okay, so if I am taking a trade in the QM, what could be my target? My target can be all-time high, because above this candle there is no data at all on the left, so this is known as all-time high area in the chart. So if I am targeting all-time high, what could be my target? If I am a positional trader and I am taking this trade on this QM, what could be my target? My target will be open until opposite QM forms in the chart. So this is how a positional trader can take a trade. Now price moves up, right? And because of the move up, price breaks couple of resistances, and we know MIP got created in the chart. So how this is an MIP? This is a resistance which got engulfed, new resistance got created, and price came down, right, and moved up. So this is our MIP. So this is our first demand MIP. As I said, when the trend will change, price will start creating demand MIPs and QMs. Okay, so the first QM gave a reaction and the demand MIP got created. Thereafter, price moved up and price started moving in a sideways manner. Okay, when price moved in a sideways manner, it first pecked out, a novice gap happened in the support side, and then it engulfed the resistance and the reaccumulation formed. Okay, so inside the reaccumulation, when we checked, we found there is a QM, because low high, lower low and higher high formed and the authentic zone got engulfed. So we know that demand QM got formed. So once the demand QM got formed, we know the gap between the demand QM and the MIP is also a circuit. So we will call this as a demand circuit 1. Okay, so now price moves up again. Now how these circuits help, you will understand once we go through the entire slide. Okay, so now price moves up. Understand as of now what is a circuit. So price comes down to the break limit zone, and the break limit zone gives its reaction. By this, another MIP gets created in the chart. So once that MIP gets created in the chart, we know the gap between these two is between this MIP and the QM is also known as a circuit, and we will call this circuit as a circuit number 2. So this is a process by which the price moves in a chart. Okay, it will continuously create one after another circuit in the chart. Now here what happened, after the MIP got created, price came down, tested the MIP in front of you, right, and price moved up and engulfed the new resistance as well. So by this, another MIP got created in the chart. Okay, and price moved up. Now as you can see, these two MIPs doesn't have any gap in between them. So when two MIPs are test of each other, then there will be no gap, and if there is no gap, there is no circuit. Okay, now price moved up, breaks a resistance, comes down, creates another drop, base, rally, and price, what it is doing, it engulfed the resistance as well. So by this, another MIP got created here in the chart. This is how the price moves in any chart, friends. Okay, so once the MIP gets created, we know the gap between these two MIPs are known as circuit, and we will call this as a circuit number 3. So once the circuit number 3 is in place, then price comes down, okay, again, then creates a gap up and moves up and engulfs the resistance as well. Now look, there is no base candle, but there is a pro gap, and this pro gap, this is a pivot MIP which got created. We will mark the pivot MIP, and the gap between the two MIPs will again call it as a circuit number 4. Okay, so once the circuit number 4 gets created, price created a Knobwise gap and dropped down, then again created another base candle, moves up, another Knobwise gap happened, okay, price gapped up but failed, and now again coming down, price creates a base candle thereafter and drops further, test, then a Knobwise gap happened and that tested the pro gap and price moved up, and by this price engulfs the resistance as well. So what we get here, low, high, lower low and higher high, and the authentic zone got engulfed. So this is a QM form. We know the gap between a QM and a MIP is known as circuit number 5. Okay, so price is moving up, creating so many circuits and continuously moving up. Okay, so same again, price comes down a little, test the QM, okay, and then a pro gap happens, price moves up, okay, so the QM got tested, price moves up, and what happens there, the price engulfs the last newly formed resistance. By this we know another pivot MIP got created which is having a pro gap, and we are marking this pivot MIP. Now the QM and the pivot MIP doesn't have a gap in between them, so there is no circuit there. Okay, now price moves up, creates a base candle, again moves up, a rally base rally forms, thereafter another base candle forms and price again moves up. By this another rally base rally forms. So this rally base rally is a authentic demand zone, we know, right? And our price has moved up a lot by now, and we know that if we are a positional trader, there is no fear that prices will go down because the circuits are intact. Now what happens, we can still open our trade and enjoy the profits. Now what happens, price comes down to the authentic demand zone. The authentic demand zone gave its reaction and price starts moving up, and it engulfs the last resistance. So by this MIP in the chart, demand MIP gets created in the chart. Okay, so once the demand MIP gets created in the chart, we know the gap between these two MIPs are known as circuit, and we call this circuit as circuit number 6. So after the circuit number 6, what happens, price creates a base candle, comes down to the MIP, and after a long rally, it engulfs the MIP and enters the circuit. Now once that happens, we know that circuit is broken and a circuit break has happened and the trend change has happened. Then we also know that there is a low, high, lower, low, low, high, low, higher, high and lower, low form. So this is a QM form in the chart, and the authentic zone which is responsible for creating the MIP has also been engulfed, so we know we can trade this QM. And once price comes up, we are going to take the trade. Now, how we will decide what could be the target of this trade? Now, you need to look low, in the lower side, what is there in the chart on the left, okay? So you have a first MIP, which is fresh, which is a pro gap, but understand when price changes its trend, the MIPs, the fresh MIPs will only give small reactions, okay? So we have a fresh MIP where we expect a small reaction. Then we have a compression because everything, the MIP, the QM, the MIPs, all are compressed. Then we have another fresh MIP in the chart, where from also we can expect a small bounce, and thereafter again below that MIP we have compression, two MIPs which are test of each other, and lastly we have a fresh accumulation where there is a QM there in the chart. So as I said, if there is a QM with accumulation below in a circuit, that is the target, that is the final target. You cannot expect price to go beyond that if there is a QM fresh available in the chart. The MIPs will give small reactions, but the QMs, leftover QMs, will give huge reactions. So now we have started our, we know what could be our target for this QM. Now price coming down, when it came down, it also created a supply QM. As the trend has changed, now price will create supply MIPs and supply QMs. Okay, so supply MIP has got created, price came down to the fresh MIP. I mean, thereafter the fresh MIP gave a demand MIP, gave a small bounce, then price starts moving, I mean, inside sideways, right? And this is a consolidation with what happened, what is happening in the chart. Once, so the consolidation, we do not know whether it is going to be a accumulation or distribution, but yes, as per circuit, this has to be a distribution which is forming there in the chart. So price is moving in sideways manner and then moves up to the resistance again, okay, touches the resistance, comes down. This resistance might be created because of the hidden zone of the MIP, okay. Now price came down to the support again, and this time it fails and it engulfs the fresh MIP, okay. So once that happens, the engulf happens, we know that there is a QM formed, supply QM with our distribution, and if price comes up, we can short. And also the gap between the supply MIP and the supply QM is also known as a circuit. Now this is a supply circuit. Why we are drawing this circuit? Because we want to know what could be the target for a long trade once price reaches the demand QM. I mean this area. Once price reaches this area, we will be coming to know what could be our possible target. Now what happens? Price comes down after the engulf, moves up. The hidden zone gave its reaction. A MIP sort of thing got created in the chart and price moved up. Price gives a novice gap and tests the QM and comes down, okay. And not only comes down, it also engulfs the resistance, okay, and authentic zone, whatever was there. Now once that happens, we know this is also a QM formed in the chart. High, low, higher, high, lower, low. So this is a QM, and we know the gap between two QMs are also circuits. So this is our supply circuit 2 got created. Now price came down again to the fresh MIP, and the fresh MIP, gave its bounce, okay. So friends, one thing more I forgot to tell you, that the last MIP in a compression always gives a bounce, and this bounce has happened because of that, okay. And thereafter price came down to the fresh MIP. The fresh MIP starts giving small bounce. You can trade it. If circuit is down, circuit is broken, the demand MIPs will give small bounces. If the supply circuit is broken, then the supply MIPs will give small bounces. By this, what I mean, MIPs are best traded when the trend is intact. MIPs are best traded when the trend is intact. QMs can be traded at all times, okay. So now another QM got created in the chart, a supply QM, as we know that the trend has changed, and when trend will change, price will continuously create QMs after QMs and MIPs after MIPs. So in this case, price has created another QM. So once that has happened, I know another socket got created because the gap between two QMs is also a socket. Okay, so this is, I will call at supply socket number 3. So once the supply socket number 3 happened, price went down further to the end of the next compressed zone. The next compressed zone gave a small reaction and price started moving in a channel. Okay, so now what's happening, price moved in a channel slowly and moved up to the QM, test the QM with a novice gap and came down. Our outside bar got created. You could have, you can trade that outside bar, and then price comes down slowly and price engulfs the resistance and the authentic zone as well. So by this, another QM got created in the chart. Okay, so what kind this QM is? High, low, higher high and lower low. As you can see, this is the QM. We'll mark the high base candle to find out the QM, and the gap between these two QM we will call it as socket number 4. Okay, now what happens? Price moves up, then creates a base and drops. By this, MIP got created in the chart. Okay, this is a MIP. Okay, so we know that the gap between a QM and a supply MIP is also, supply QM and supply MIP is also a socket. So this is our socket number 5. By creating the MIP, price also moved down and hit the fresh QM. Okay, so when price hit the fresh QM, the demand QM is more powerful, and that is why the last MIP supply MIP gets engulfed. And once the last supply MIP gets engulfed, what happens? Price enters the supply socket. The supply socket is broken, and we know once the supply socket is broken, price has changed its trend, and there is a demand QM formed in the current market price. And what will happen? Price will go to the demand QM, and the demand QM will give its reaction. But what could be the target? Now, if you look at the top, all the zones, all the QMs are tested. That means there is compression. So if there is compression, what could be target? We know all the MIPs will give small reactions, but there is no QM which is fresh there, so the target can be all-time high until our opposite QM forms. And that is what happens. Price moves up, hits the QM, comes down, the hidden zone gives its reaction, moves to the topmost MIP. The topmost MIP, it was fresh and it gave a small reaction to the hidden zone of the QM, and the hidden zone of the QM takes the price up to the all-time high again. So this is how the entire chart moves. This is so very true. You go to any chart, the sequence may be different, but if you find all the QMs and MIPs and do this analysis, you will find this to be true each and every time. Okay, so this is what is known as circuit analysis. This helps us to define the targets and as well as take the biggest of the trend, okay, and understand the trend reversal signals. Okay, now one thing before I end, if say this is for positional thing, okay, more. If you are a, say you are not a positional trader, you are an intraday trader, okay, possible? Now what will you do here? But how this circuit is going to help you as an intraday trader? Yes, in 1 minute chart also there is a circuit, okay, you can play that, but understand if you are taking a higher time frame circuit, you can get beautiful trades, my dear friends, in intraday. So if you know that, say, price is trading here, okay, and a MIP got created. You know the circuit has changed here and price is in a new trend, and this trend is not going to break immediately. It is not going to happen like that, okay? So you know that you can take this trade at any stages. Whenever a MIP is getting created, you can take it, because as I said, MIPs work better in a trend. Once trend changes, the MIP starts giving small, small bounces and not big bounces. Okay. So this is what you can take an advantage of, and you can trade all these MIPs if you find that the trend is up. I mean, how will you find that the circuits are in tracks? There is no circuit break happen. And if the circuit break happens, you can also take a short trade because you will enjoy that small intraday trades as well there. Okay. So this is how the intraday trader, the weekly trader also can take a trade. Now, another thing, important, very important thing is, what if you are a positional trader or a weekly trader, uh, I mean a swing trader, but what if you miss to enter here? Maybe you have opened, you are entering a day when price is standing somewhere, say here. Okay. So how will you take this trade, or will you take this trade? Yes, you will definitely take this trade. Okay. How will you do? You will start your analysis from the bottom. You will find where the trend change has happened, where the circuit break has happened, and thereafter what price is doing. Is there, when price is standing here, is there a circuit break? If there is no circuit break and this is an MIP form, you can jolly well go along. Think if say this MIP price has, I mean, it didn't returned at that time, and also price created another MIP above it, you can jolly well enter on that MIP, because you know in a trend price will not break a MIP, because breaking of a MIP means trend change. Okay. Yes, one thing can happen. Two MIPs are too close to each other. Maybe there is a fake out can happen. Okay, too close means level over level. Okay, so this is how you can continuously trade this curve. This is also, I mean, if you take it, it's also an institutional trap curve, but this is how the circuit happens. So now mix institutional trap curve with circuit and also QMs, you will find an MIPs, you will find the entire game how it happens inside the chart. Okay. So friends, any question, any challenges? I was a little bit fast. Sorry for that. Sorry for the mistake at the beginning. I should have started at the first point. So any questions, any challenges? So once the trend change, it can again change only if a QM gets formed, opposite QM. And for a downtrend, the downtrend generally stops at a fresh QM, leftover fresh QM. Okay, it doesn't changes from MIP. So these are important facts about the chart. That means if there is compression, price will certainly go down through it. Even if it is giving bounce, you shouldn't be thinking that it is going to go down, I mean go up. Okay, so you need to have a level, good level, to send the price back up. Okay, so any questions? uh, but what is the need of writing circuit? We just have to look, it is very much needed, you know, to play all this. If you are a, say if you want to play weekly trades, if you are not drawing I mean circuits, you will not know what's happening there. Okay, you will not be able to buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here. All these stuffs you will not be able to do, right? So it has its own importance and own characteristics. This helps a lot to understanding the price movement. Okay, so this is very, very important. Anshul says, last thing you explained that if we need to enter at best price, how to enter later. Can you explain again? Yes, understand. Uh, understand if you are missing, say, entering here, right? Anshul, if you are missing to enter here, I mean, you have plotted this, but you fail to get this entry, right? Then what we will do, as because the circuit is in, you know the circuit is intact. Until or unless you draw the circuit, you will never know that the circuit is intact or it is broken, okay? So once you do that, you will know that where, I mean, if you have failed to enter here, you will then what you will do, you will wait for another MIP to get created or QM to get created to enter the trade. Okay, and if you are entering the trade, say here at this point, then you know that already price has moved a little bit up, so your target will not be that high, I mean that big, but still you can keep your trade open because you know until a opposite circuit break happens, price is not going to change its trend. So you, if you are taking a trade here, you can book the trade here at this point. Okay, so this how you can also make money, and you can continuously trade the circuit. I mean, you doesn't have to fear that the circuit will break and price will go down. That is how it doesn't happen. If it can happen only if there is compression, complete compression. Okay. So, sir, unable to understand demand QM formed after demand circuit 5. Demand circuit 5, just a second, I'll show you. This is what you are talking about. Understand, price gaps up, moves down, low, high, lower low, higher high. Okay, are you getting it? Low, high, lower low, higher high. This is a fake out. This is a green candle. This is a fake out, and this is a engulf. Okay, so this is a QM formed in the chart. Got it? Okay. Richter, so we will trade fresh key levels even in markdown stage. Yes, we will fresh key levels and understand the circuit helps us to understand that another very important point, Richter, that you are missing here is the circuit break. Okay, understand there is lot of good MIPs. This is a good fresh MIP. This is a good fresh MIP. What when the circuit breaks, why we need circuit? Because when the circuit breaks, these MIPs may fail completely, may give small bounce or it can completely fail. Whereas if the circuit is intact, these MIPs will certainly give big bounces. That is the difference. That is a big difference. Same MIP demand in a trend will give you a big bounce. The same MIP demand after the trend change will give you small bounce. Okay, so this is a big thing. Okay, so Richter, have you understood? Okay, so when we say we will trade the key levels, you can always trade the fresh key levels, but you will know that okay, the trend has changed, I will have a smaller targets, okay, for the demand. But same way, if a key QM is there, key level which is a QM, I can expect a complete trend change from it, right? So different key levels have different behaviors when a trend changes. This is something which I wanted to deliver to you today. Yes, trend change can happen without a QM. Okay, that can happen if there is a accumulation and there is no QM as well, but it's a fresh accumulation or reaccumulation. The trend can change from it. But how will you know that the trend has changed? How to know that? If at that time I will know, yes, the trend change has happened. Okay, and price will come down and move up. Okay, supported by what? The approach. As you can see, everything is compressed. So circuit break and above it, a lot of compression will tell you that price is going to change its trend. Okay. Everyone, any further questions? Any challenges on circuit? I think you need to go with this session couple of times before you can actually grasp on it. Okay. And again, you will not find all this in many price action websites. Okay, the entire thing you will find a portion of it maybe. Okay, so okay, so any questions, any challenges you have? So what I'm doing here, what I'm trying to show you here is understand the same thing. The trap zones are there. We have understood what is QM, what is trap zone, what is MIP zone all. So the most important thing which tells, it is not the break limit zone, which tells us that the trend is going to change. It is not the reverse zone. It is the MIP, okay, which is going to tell us that yes, the trend has changed. Okay. So this is how the entire trend change happens, one after another. Okay, price breaks the circuit and then the trend change happens. And if you know circuit analysis, then you will never have any problem, and you will know that how much far your trade can give you a profit. Big trades you can play. You will have the confidence to hold on your position if you know circuits. That is one thing the circuit helps you. It will tell you that circuit is not going to break. It is not breaking. It is intact. It should go up, right? So you can hold upon with that with confidence. And once the circuit break happens here, the circuit breaks happens here. What will you do? You will wait for price to retrace back to the QM, and then you can book your profits. You doesn't have to worry and just to book out here. Okay. So this is something the circuit analysis helps you. Okay. I have covered how to target in a all-time high. I hope all of you have understood how to enter a trade after a big fall, right? How to, move out of a trade after a big rally or a big drop down, and how to enter a new short trade and a new trade in a new forming, a new, downtrend, beginning of a downtrend, how to enter a trade, and also beginning of a uptrend, how to enter a trade. Also in between, anyway, if you have missed a trade, where you can enter the trade, how you can enter the trade, how if you in a circuit, if you wait, you will get another trade. I hope this portion is clear to you. And also, once the circuit is broken, what is the behavior of the MIPs, demand MIPs or supply MIPs? Once the circuit is broken, the opposite, MIPs, they start giving small bounces and not big bounces. Compression will be taken out, and fresh QMs will give, try to change the trend. So any questions, friends? Because that is the end of this slide, this session. There is nothing more to give you. There is circuit 7 as well between authentic demand zone or MIP. That is the highest QM. No, there is no circuit, Jayaprasad, because that's all-time high. Price has not created another MIP. I have marked circuit number 6. So another circuit will only get created if price moves up and breaks this high. Once the all-time high will break, then only another circuit will be created. This is the opposite. This is a supply QM and not a demand QM. A circuit gets created with a sequence of demand MIPs and demand QMs. Again, For a down circuit, we will see a sequence of supply QMs and supply MIPs. So don't get confused and don't mix up, because demand MIP and demand supply QM will not form a circuit. It is the demand which demand will uh, create the circuit. It is the supply which supply will create the circuit, supply circuit. Okay, this is how it happens. So this is a supply, this is a demand. We have not circuit number 6 there. Okay. Whew. So most of the trend, see, Milan, when you ask me this cat question, I feel little scared. Okay, what happens? I found in my trading career, one thing is very, very sure. When I give something for very surety, price will come one day and show you, no, you are wrong, right? Because price is very dynamic, very, very dynamic. This is true, and you can take it true for 99% times. I will always keep 1% for my own safety. Okay. So, but understand, when you say most of the time, I mean it is most of the time. All right. So yes, we should always give price and the institutions more advantage, and don't try to be act smarter. Let us be on the back foot and say, okay, it can do, but then again, if the institution won, they can change from a QM as well. I mean, inside a compression as well, they can do whatever they want. But this thing, with lot of practice, once you do a lot of practice, you will see this thing is true. This is not wrong. Okay, and most of the times, I have found this to be true. So I don't know if it can change someday. I have no idea. So I should be and have a safety gear of it for me as well when I say that. Uh, so price is very dynamic. But yes, QMs do change trend. I can bet on you on that. Okay. So any further questions? Any challenges? So last day, it was, I think there was two beautiful charts posted by Anshul. Knowingly or unknowingly, he has actually marked socket. I didn't said anything, and Ashwat, Muhammad Ashwat, he was kidding with him, and I saw that I didn't said anything because uh, at that time you were not aware of sockets. But now, if you go to that two charts of Anshul, you will see he has exactly marked the sockets, but knowingly or unknowingly, whatever, right? So that is there. So that's the end of the slideshow. Now get back to your charts and start analyzing on at least 110 steps to be familiar before next topic. Share your work with your mentor. All the best, right? So thank you very much. Please do send your feedback to info@questioninggrows.com, and I will try to help you out on that. So before we go, we have a habit of taking up one or two charts and try to find out whether what we learned they do work, or all these are, just nothing. Right? We need to do that. What a coincidence. Yes, yes. Can you see my chart? Yes. So as you can see, a lot of things are marked: distribution, redistribution. Okay, MIP got engulfed at the top. Okay, MIP got engulfed at the top. QM got created in the chart. Okay, price didn't come back to the QM because the hidden zone gave its reaction. And what happened? Price starts creating distribution after distribution. As you can see, this is a MIP. After this, let me draw all the MIPs for you, right? I'm so good in it that I will draw everything very fast. Okay. Oops, what happened? Something happened, I guess, and I have no idea what happened. I'm not, removing anything because this is a QM here. Okay. If you have any confusion, then only ask me. I'm starting from the bottom. As you can see, this is a QM. Okay, low, high, lower, low, higher, high. Okay. Then what happened? Is this a MIP? No, this is not an MIP. This must be an MIP. Pivot MIP is this. If you draw it, and price came down to it, gave its reaction. Probably a small QM got created here, but then again, it's a compression. Okay, price moved up. Okay, and this entire structure is also a QM. Can you see that? Low, high, lower low, higher high. So this entire structure is a QM. Price came down to it, moved up. The QM is tested here, and this is a what channel is this? This is a descending channel sort of thing. I mean, could have drawn it better in a better manner. I mean, I was very reluctant when I draw this. Okay, it could have been like this. So as you can see, it has a QM here. Okay, price dropped and moved up, so there is a QM, and that's what happened. Price came down to the QM, isn't it? This is a descending channel and there is a QM inside it, and price came down inside it, it tested it. Okay, and then price moved up. Okay, in between it has, inside that there is a small QM, and also this can be treated as a QM as well. This one. Okay, because low, high, lower low, and this is a higher high, and this high has been engulfed, and this is all-time high. So this we will take as an authentic zone, so that has got engulfed here. Okay, now what happened? Price moved up. I don't know what happened. Price came very near to it, and price bounced. Okay, now this is if I go close, as you can see, the entire QM level is tested here. Okay, so this is not a good QM as far as our concept goes. Here we do not have a QM, and all everything is compressed. Here we have a MIP in the chart. We can draw this MIP. Okay, then price moved up, created a distribution reaccumulation, sorry, and there is no QM. I will not mark. There is this MIP here in the chart. Okay, and we have this MIP, right? This has not engulfed this high, so this is not a MIP. This one is the MIP. Price moved very sideways here. This is the MIP, and price moved up, hits it, comes down, circuit break happens, price engulfs inside. Both the MIPs were taken out here. Circuit break happens, immediately we know there is a QM, and this is a distribution, and we can short, and the hidden zone of the MIP gave its reaction, another distribution formed. The trend change happened, and we know all these MIPs will give small reactions. So what happened, as you can see, this MIP gave a small reaction to the break limit zone couple of times, and eventually the tested supply break limit zone breaks the fresh demand MIP. Understand this. Okay. So when the trend is changed, even the tested level starts working better. Okay, and price comes down again, engulfs this MIP, the MIP gives its reaction and price moves up. Now, one thing, did price engulf supply MIP here? We can start drawing the QMs and the supply MIPs here. As you can see, there is no supply MIP which I can draw in the supply side. Only the QM is here, and rest there is no supply MIP. Okay, we have distribution, and as because this is not a supply MIP, I mean there is no engulf at all, right? So even if price moves up, I mean there is no trend change happen. This is not a trend change signal. And the next thing we can see, price will again may come down to the lowermost part. If we have a MIP here, we have to draw in between, because that will also give a small reaction. This is an MIP here. I need to mark it as well. Okay, so expect, I mean this QM is tested, this QM is tested, this QM is tested, the lower QM is tested, so expect price to come somewhere here. I don't know, I have no idea, right? But I think, I mean, price can jolly well come to 337. Okay, this is as per circuit analysis. If I am making any wrong analysis, then that can happen. But as per circuit, I think yes, it can come down. Okay, distribution formed, redistribution formed, price has to come down again. Okay, this is how the entire circuit analysis happens. So if we have taken this trade from the hidden zone, we could, I mean, target this area because everything is compressed above. Okay, small bounces will always come. So then this is what I can analyze in CH by the way of circuit. I mean opposite QM may be getting created here. I mean supply QM, as I can see, high, low, higher high has formed. As price comes down and lower low gets created, then opposite QM, I mean supply QM may form here. Okay. Okay. So yes, we can take so many of them are there. The same thing happening here as well. So we have an MIP here. We have an MIP here, and distribution, redistribution prices actually came down very near to this accumulation. I expect it to come down. I don't know that whether it has touched the accumulation or not. If it has touched, then that trend change may happen. So let us see. No, maybe probably not. We need to check whether a MIP got engulfed or not. We need to wait for price to come deep down, and then we can look for a MIP engulf, and once the MIP engulfs, we know the trend has changed and we can go long here because price is very near to a fresh accumulation. Okay, Mohammed, everything is there. The complete scenario is here. Okay, so if you again go very close to this, somewhere there MIP got engulfed. Okay, I can call this as a resistance, this as a resistance, and I can say this as a MIP here. Okay, so this is an MIP price. Engulf trade came up to the QM level and now dropped. Okay, beautiful trade. I mean the trend changed after the circuit break happened, and below that the MIPs are all compressed. So price came down very fast to the bottom. Okay. So any challenges? Any questions, friends? Mohammed? With my experience, I don't even need to draw everything in the chart. With practice, you will also be able to do that. Okay. But at the beginning, you should also, you should, I mean, mark everything. Okay. every MIP will give small bounces like what is happening now. Okay, so friends, that brings me to the end of today's session. Hope you have liked it. If you have liked it, please send your feedback to info@questioninfos.com and I will be happy to serve you in a better manner. If you have any complaints, please let me know. Okay, so see you then. Have a nice Sunday. Bye bye. Tomorrow we okay. One announcement. Tomorrow I may not be taking a live session. We will have the live session on Tuesday. I have some very important tasks to do tomorrow. Because of that, I may miss the live session tomorrow. Okay. So this is an announcement. Tomorrow there will be no live session. The live session will happen on Tuesday. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. See you then.
Okay.